Alright, so hi everyone. This is the video companion for Lab 5. So we're looking at Lab 5 here, here in the Lab section in Moodle. Lab 5, I've downloaded it, I have it here. Lab Tutorial 5. We're going to talk all about converting NURBS to polygons. We've looked a bit on this, but I'm going to cover it again because I think it might be useful for you. Alright, so therefore I'm going to do that in this one here. Alright, so it says there's two main areas where you can find the option to convert NURBS to polygons. The first one is in our surface creation tools, whether it's our loft, whether it's our revolve, our extrude, and so on. And I'll show you what I got here in Maya. Alright, as you can see here, this is basically a NURBS patch, a NURBS surface that I use that I generated from a revolve operation. Remember all these guys here, loft, planar, revolve, and all that, extrude, and so on. So I use a revolve, and that got me this wine glass. With the current settings that I have here, which is actually the default reset settings, you're going to get yourself a NURBS. You'll see that you can also get polygons. So let's just delete this patch here, select that and press delete. So that's my curve that I'm going to use to revolve to generate that surface. Now this time around, instead of choosing NURBS, I'm going to choose polygons instead. So I'll choose polygons here, but you would need to scroll down a bit more, because if you just rely on polygons, and you can see what happens, just click apply and see, what you get instead are triangles. Now triangles, not to say that they're not useful, they're useful for a reason. In particular when you're building assets for games, but we are not building assets for games, and if we are, we can always convert things to triangles later on. So it's not preferable to have it in triangles for now. So I don't want triangles. What I want instead is the output geometry to be polygons, correct? But I want it to be quads, which are actually 4-point polygons. And we can give it a try and hit apply and see what happens. And you'll see that this is closer to what we're trying to achieve. It's not too bad, but knowing from experience, if you just leave it to polygons and quads, what you get is basically a polygonal mesh. It means that it's the orange stuff here. But if you look closer, you start to notice something. In particular, if you look at this part here, the edges, they kind of stop short here and they don't really continue on. So they're not really contiguous. They kind of stop here, and what you get is, yes, you can say that's a quad. But here, what you see here, that's not really a quad. That is an n-gon. And how do I know? If you count the vertices, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're not really quads. So you're not getting really nice quad only objects that contain only 4-point polygons if you remain with this setting. Also, when it's not entirely quads, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get funny deformation when you subdivide it. So if I press 3 here, right? Alright, so 3 basically gives us, remember, 1, 2, 3. 1 is the base mesh, 2 is the base mesh with the the subdivision preview, and 3 gives you the subdivision preview. At the moment, it looks kind of smooth, yeah, right. But you'll start to notice that right down here below, and I'm not sure if you can really see it, that we're not really getting a nice subdivision here, and it's going to have this funny shapes going on, like some bumps happening at the edges there. So the reason for that is because they're not really quads to begin with. They're there's n-gons, there's quads, there's n-gons, and they kind of overlap. So to get a nicer, smoother subdivision, I would advise that all of your polygons to be quads. And therefore, how do we do that? So let's just delete this. So we're going to select our curve again and go back to the revolve options. So polygons is correct, quads is correct. The other thing that you need to note is the control points. So you want to select control points here. And if I hit apply now, by right, you will get a nice polygonal surface. Alright, I'm going to close this window first and not look at it. We're going to focus our eyes here. I did say that it's supposed to be nice, right? But it's looking black. So what's going on here? We know for a fact that black means that the normals are not pointing the correct way. No problem. We can flip it, remember? But since this is a polygonal surface, we won't be able to flip it by using the surfaces reverse direction tool. Instead, what we need to do is we need to go to display. We need to go to mesh display here, right? And there's this one called reverse. Even the icon is kind of showing you that. It's basically flipping the normals from one side to the other. So go to mesh display and reverse. And what you get is gray polygons. Now the normals are pointing correctly. Alright, other things to note is that I did say that it's supposed to be smooth, right? Well, it's not smooth at the moment. Why? Because this is still in our base mesh. So if you want to get the same effect that you get from generating a NURBS surface, you need to press 3. Once I press 3, it's starting to look like our former NURBS surface that we had earlier. Remember, 3 is the subdivision preview, and it will give you a smooth surface from, if you press 1 again, from that base mesh that you had earlier. Of course, base mesh is always going to look like this. Base mesh is basically they're made out of polygons, they're quite edgy, they're tessellated, they're not smooth by default. But what's good about it is that you can go to the context menu by holding right mouse button, and you can go to face perhaps. Maybe you wanted to, I don't know, you wanted to have a crease at the outer part here. So I might select these polygons here and press Ctrl E. And it's taking some time here. And you can actually extrude it if you want. So you have more control in terms of the possibilities you can generate with polygonal surface. And if I press 3, it will subdivide it. It will give you that subdivision preview, and it will end up turning smooth as well, just like a NURBS surface. But unlike a NURBS surface, you have more control towards the kind of polygons you can select and tweak the surface to however way you like. So that's about it. I'll continue in the next video. Thank you.